Welcome to another deep thought session where, we really get into one particular idea. And today, I think we're going to tackle something that might seem kind of backwards at first. The idea is sometimes you have to take things apart before you can build something new, something truly better.
Yeah, absolutely. The genesis of this whole thing is this video we found on YouTube. It's on the BetterU channel, and it's called "The Only Way to Start Self-Improvement." The thing that really got us hooked was this idea that all those like classic self-improvement techniques often fail because, well, they just don't address the underlying issues. They're not deep enough.
Right, exactly. The video makes this comparison. It says that trying to improve yourself without acknowledging those deep-rooted limiting beliefs that you have is like swimming upstream. You put in a ton of effort, but you barely make any progress. And that leads to this pretty intense idea they present, self-destruction before construction. But they're quick to point out this isn't about like having some sort of meltdown. It's not that literal.
Exactly. It's more about when they say self-destruction, they're really talking about dismantling that negative inner voice we all have, the loser identity, they call it. Facing those doubts, those fears that have been there for so long, the ones that tell you things like you'll never be able to do this or you're just going to fail.
Yeah, it's amazing how much power those thoughts actually have, right? The video even talks about some very common fears, things like, public speaking or even starting your own business. And these are not just worries. They can really prevent you from moving forward in life.
And that's where their big secret comes into play, which, I mean, it's not some magic solution, but it is something that people tend to shy away from. It's confronting your fears head on. They actually suggest asking yourself, like really asking yourself, what am I most afraid of doing? And then this is important, taking action, actually doing it. They give some concrete examples too, like, signing up for a public speaking class or even starting to write that business plan you've been putting off. But,
Mhm.
this isn't about being reckless or anything. It's more about choosing to be uncomfortable to grow.
Yeah, they even use this really great analogy with boxing. They compare someone who's always practicing the basics in the gym to someone who actually gets in the ring and spars with someone much tougher. Of course, the sparring partner is probably going to get hit a few times,
Hmm.
but by doing that, by facing that fear of getting knocked down, they chip away at it. It doesn't have as much power over them anymore.
Right. And the reasoning they give for this whole approach is really insightful. You see, this self-destruction, this breaking down of negative beliefs, it creates the space you need for real growth to happen. They even use this image of like an overflowing trash can. You can't put anything new, anything positive in there until you've emptied out all the old negative stuff. It's the same with our minds.
It's a really powerful image, isn't it? And it's important to remember it's not just about, checking things off a list or reaching some big goal. It's also about how you feel along the way. As you grow and learn, you want to feel good. The video points out that facing those fears, even in small ways, leads to these little victories, these little boosts of confidence. And when you add all those up, well, they really start to matter. It changes the way you see personal development, is no longer this huge daunting task, but something that's more empowering, maybe even exciting.
So the main takeaway here is, I think, before you even think about all that, classic self-improvement advice, take a good look at those negative beliefs that are holding you back. Really examine them, see how much power they actually have, and then think about confronting them directly.
Food for thought, isn't it? For our listeners out there, here's something to think about, something to consider for yourself. What's just one small fear that you could choose to face this week? What's one thing you've been avoiding, putting off, that might actually be the first step to, dismantling that loser identity and becoming the best version of yourself?
Yeah, that's a powerful question to reflect on. Well, thank you for joining us on this journey, this edition of the Deep Thought Podcast. We really hope this exploration has given you some valuable insights.
If you found this deep thought stimulating, we'd love it if you could like and subscribe for more. And, we have a whole network of podcasts you might find interesting. We got some links down below if you want to dive into those.